Welcome to Amateur Redneck Workshop. I'm Harold, and we're going to finish up today on part 3 of the attachment to grind tool bits on my U2 grinder. And I've got something I've been thinking about, and up till now I've been kind of afraid to build a lot of stuff for other people on account of maybe possible liability, But I got to thinking, it's funding the projects is kind of consuming of a lot of cash, and it might not be as interesting as it could be if I were to make you an offer. You want something built? Give me a proposition how to build it, and you furnish the materials, I'll do the work, and we'll give you the machine or the tool or whatever it is you want. Does that sound like a fair deal? Think about it. Alright, let's get on with this. Now I'm going to do something here that I can't really give you a logical explanation for, but I'm going to put a screw to hold down the clamp on either end. This is the end that'll be in toward the grinding stone all the time. So you'd think that'd be good enough, but I'm going to put one back there just in case. I guess I'm just that kind of guy. Alright, so I got to line this up under the drill bit. I've got the drill press table moved back too far. Let's zoom you guys back, and we'll move this guy around till we get over it. That looks good to me. I think I might have it positioned right now, and you guys are positioned wrong. So there you go. That'll probably be all right. Put a little bit of tap magic on it, and let's go for it. Alright, now I'll have to get the tap and we'll power tap the little booger. Now this is sort of redneck style power tapping, because I bring it down there and I shut the motor off and jam it in, and so it coasts to a stop. But when it coasts to a stop, it's straight in the hole instead of cockeyed like I'd do it by hand. There we go. So that feels a lot like it may have made it very near to the bottom. Well, didn't make it to the bottom, but I'll get a nice bottom tap and finish that up in a minute. So now we'll just move on to the next hole, get it drilled and the tap started, and it'll be just like that. Same thing all over again. Alright, I'm going to try to make this little clamp so that it fits okay on 1/4 inch and 1/8 inch. Okay, I made it wide enough for 3/8 inch to set totally on there, but I doubt I'll be doing very much 3/8 inch because it really doesn't fit my tool holder, and these other two will. So this will be the main use of it. Set the guy up here so that he squeezes adequately on both sides, or at least we'll try to. Okay, I'll bring you back when I got it marked up. Gotta let that die dry out. That stuff's taking a long time. I'm going to cut a notch out of the center of this guy to my layout lines, and we'll see what we'll see. It'll take a couple little cuts, I'm sure. Now, I guess if I was a smart guy, you know, Tom Lipton or somebody, I'd measure it with a with a caliper and know exactly how far I needed to move over. But then I'm not Tom Lipton, so I'll put y'all to sleep before we get a caliper. Take a little off this end. Alright, now it's time to take stock of what's going on here. So, put you back to sleep while I do a little measuring and comparing. Alright, so we cut a groove in there, and then I drilled a hole, and I've got the piece mounted here. Loosen it up a little bit and move it a little bit more. Well, there. You can see I can move the tool a bit closer and backwards, whatever it needs to be sitting still. But I can get the tool bit in there, sticking out. I've discovered this little ring down here is held supposedly accurate by that screw underneath it, and it was not straight, didn't look square to me, so I'm going to have to get a machinist square and straighten this thing up and make sure all these numbers, you know, angles read correctly, because that was definitely not a zero. Shouldn't have been there. So I'll come back and finish this when I've got that thing lined up better. At this point, I wanted to duplicate this guy right here. He's got a little snap ring groove in the end to hold a snap ring to hold him to this piece here. And I was going to duplicate that until I got to thinking about it. And the screw I've got is threaded all the way. And I got to thinking, why would I do that when I should just make a knurled knob for it and put some red Loctite on there, and I'll make two little brass nuts and Loctite them down. Okay? So anyway, what I was going to do, I was going to grind this little tool bit so that I could use it to cut grooves. Just like that. It may be that I'm making it a little bit long, I don't know. Rather a little bit thick and a little bit long. And then again, maybe I'm not. Let me pull it out of here and let you see it. Got to get an Allen wrench. Okay, so if you can see this, I'm not sure if you can or not, but touch that thing. Alright, should focus on this. You can see on the end I've started a tiny little narrow piece sticking out. Did the most of the work with a bench grinder, and now I'm cutting the little thin piece that would cut a snap ring groove. That's one of the uses of that I wanted this attachment here for, is to help me make things like that. So considering that I've changed my mind and I'm not going to use the snap ring groove, I thought I'd go ahead and demonstrate making the tool anyway. So I'm going to put it back in here and do the time consuming part, and then bring it back to let you have a look at it. And as much as I'd misjudged how much movement I had in various directions here, I went back and added another 1/4 inch to the width of this shelf, and then I went ahead and finished cutting the little point that I had intended to cut in the first place. So let me see if I can undo it here and get the pressure off and put it out of there. And now I think you can see what a tiny little tip that I've got on it, and it's straight and square, and that'll cut a snap ring groove. Even though I've changed my mind and decided not to do one. The last time I had this camera set up this particular view, I knocked it in the floor twice. I mean, come down, hit the lathe, hit the little grizzly, hit the lathe again, and then hit the floor twice. So hopefully this time I won't do that. I've got just a little bit to go to make this thing round, and then we'll knurl the little booger and put a 6mm thread in it and turn it into 2 little nuts, and we will use those on the little grinder over there to move that carriage back and forth if we should so happen to need to. We'll see. Alright, now this is just an arbitrary size. Whatever size it came out, that's how big it's going to be. Okay? Now we get the knurling tool and get set up for that. I imagine some of you guys saw the video where I made this knurling tool, or videos. It probably was 2 or 3. And this is a copy of a design by Mr. Tom's Techniques. I don't know what his real name is, but anyway, I saw this design on Tom's Techniques and I copied it. So that's why I've got it like this. It's really neat. It squeezes in from both ends, takes all the pressure off your carriage. Okay, so all we got to do is we got to squeeze her in on both sides with the Allen wrench, and those just hold the little finger straight right there. And I think I've got it pretty well centered, or at least centered enough. We'll start it up, start cutting a little bit, see if it's straight. Yeah, it's cutting one all the way across, so I guess we're going to be all right. It's a straight knurl. I forgot what knurling rollers I had on there. All right, we've got diamond rollers in there now, so that should do better. Dang it, every time I get near anything, stuff, pick up chips and things that I didn't even know were there. Alright, so let's give her a little twist and see what happens. That's really too fast for knurling. Let me slow it down. One of the problems I've had with this little lathe has been keeping the pulleys on all the shafts down in there. They come loose and wander around, and I have to tighten them back down, and set screw comes loose and wanders all around. Never ending problem. Just alternating, tightening the screws behind the knurling rollers, knurling wheels. You got to be careful where you put that oiler. It could get sucked down into that knurl, cause a lot of trouble. Right there, looks pretty good. Let me brush it a little bit and see. Yes, sir, I believe that'll do. Quick, wasn't it? All right, let me roll it off. All right, little center drill. Now we got to get the tap drill and the tap back to sleep. We're making this 6 millimeters to stay in keeping with the rest of the machine. That's not very impressive. All right, we've come to the time for parting. And as the man says, parting is such sweet sorrow. I'm not going to be too sorrowful about this. Now we don't need a really wide wheel. Let me go measure the other one and we'll see. The other one's almost 300 thousandths wide. I'm going to cut a groove in here anyway. Alright, these pieces go together. This is the outer thumb wheel, and this is the inner nut. And they will go on opposite sides of this little fella right here. So, all I've got to do now is to clean all this up, get all the grease off, get this piece. I guess I'm going to paint it instead of bluing it. And I'm going to Loctite these little pieces here onto the 6 millimeter threaded rod. And that'll end the project once I get that done. While you guys were sleeping, I went ahead and attached this little guy onto here. So now it's just like the other piece. You turn this guy, you can move the little table back and forth. I'm not sure that it's of any real value, but I did it because they did it. So there you go. I've got the clamp to hold the work pieces, and I can grind tool bits, and I'm happy. And I've still got this to work with. I'll be doing some other stuff with that. And I made a couple little improvements on the mill there. Got some protection for the table, and it looks pretty good. Stuff I had left over out in the shed, and I went out and got it. So I guess now it's time to go for a Bubba joke. I can tell you one thing, the next video is going to be about a VFD. I hope I do it right. Well, Bubba was down at the beach walking along, and he saw a bottle laying out there in the sand, and he picked it up, and the top was a little rusty, and it fell off, and this genie come floating out of there. And says, "Thanks for freeing me from that bottle." He says, "I'll give you 3 wishes. Bubba says, "Well, at least I know what I want." He says, "I want to be rich." The genie says, "Well, Rich, what's your next wish?" Well, that's all, folks. Y'all try to subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. Leave a comment if you got something to say. And above all, remember, keep on keeping on. Bye now.